With the release of the new $1,000 UCS LEGO Death Star, I thought it'd be a good idea to go back in LEGO's history and talk about sets that were based on or that are the Death Star. I thought there was only going to be a handful, but turns out there are a lot of sets that, well, are based off the Death Star. So whether you were disappointed by the new $1,000 one or not, we'll talk more about that one later when we get to it. Let's just go back into LEGO's past and talk about the older sets. Starting off with two sets that I kind of want to combine together because they have the exact same name, just different number attached to it. The Final Duel 1 and Final Duel 2 sets from 2002. These are the first two ever LEGO Star Wars sets based off the Death Star. I really wish LEGO did this sort of Final Duel 1 and Final Duel 2 sets for more Star Wars stuff. They only did it in 2002 with the Jedi Defense set and for this set, but I feel like it's a cooler idea that they could have explored. The Final Duel 1 is just the Emperor's Throne and that window. It also comes with Darth Vader. And then the Final Duel 2 set is pretty much like a hallway. I don't know how to describe this set. It's really interesting to just look at and like think like what part of the Death Star is this supposed to be? I feel like it's supposed to be the elevator, and then it has that like catwalk that leads in between the actual throne room area and then the elevator. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I'm not entirely sure though. The railings kind of do give me that vibe. But this one does come with a Luke Skywalker, a Stormtrooper, and an Imperial officer. Albeit they're not the most elaborate LEGO sets, they are still the first two sets based off the Death Star, which is kind of crazy to think about. For $14, you can own two pieces to the Death Star. The next time we would see a LEGO Star Wars Death Star set would be 3 years after, in 2005. And what Brickset defines as a Death Star set, it is the Imperial Inspection. First of all, you do obviously get a shuttle, and you do get some Imperial crew members along with 4 Stormtroopers with some really weird leg printing. I'm pretty sure those Stormtroopers only came in this set, and like we never saw that type of leg printing again. It's super weird. We also get 2 Royal Guards, and we get this like crane area and this command station for the Death Star, along with a little like cart to move around stuff. It is kind of strange to consider this a Death Star set, but in 2005, a lot of people weren't focused on this set. They were mainly focused on our first spherical Death Star set, which is the 10143 Death Star 2. I mean, this thing is legendary, you know? And it is kind of odd for LEGO's first attempt at a, spherical Death Star that they would go for the Death Star 2 design rather than, the Death Star 1. But it's still an amazing model. That, like, under construction area still blows my mind to this day. For a 2005 set, that looks really good. The paneling is amazing. The Death Star laser cannon itself also looks great. Those translucent green pieces coming, like, together to make that one giant beam is just so nice. And it is a building design that they will continue on with other Death Stars in the future. It is a great set, but it wasn't really one that I ever like really wanted to get. Like obviously as a kid, this didn't really appeal to me, but even now as an adult, I don't really see myself like going out of my way to try to get this set. But I mean, just as a set as a whole, this one never really like got to me, It was never one that I was like, oh, I really want to get that set. Our next Death Star set came in obviously 2008 with the GOAT itself, 10188, the Death Star set from 2008. $400 for 3,803 pieces. It is just an amazing build. If you guys did see my top 30 LEGO Star Wars sets, you'll know I put this one just outside the top 10 because I never personally owned it, but I always wanted to get it. This is just one of the most perfect LEGO Star Wars sets ever. To me, you don't need the paneling on the outside for this set to be good. It just looks amazing. There are so many play features with it. You could recreate almost any scene you want. Like there are just so many sections in this build, along with a properly working elevator, a hatch to drop your minifigures down into the trash compactor, movable turrets on the outside, along with the cannon itself that's also movable. There's just so many play features to this set, and it is, in my opinion, the second best Death Star set. However, out of the 4 expensive ones released, the Death Star 2, this one, the one they remade in 2016, and the one from this year, I think this one does it the best. I'm also a big fan of the classic looking minifigures this one had, so that one kind of does bring it up a little more. Now, I do want to ask a question. Do any of you guys remember the Planet series that Lego was doing from 2012 to 2013, because one of them was the Death Star, and I did actually own this set as a kid. This whole series, this whole line was interesting from Lego, but I did own this set, and I did like it. We had that nice Death Star piece in the back, which can separate the two pieces, which also held the bags for the actual builds in the set. Each panel was visible for the Death Star on it. It just looked really nice, and I think out of all the Planet series, this one is one of the best. The next time we would see a set related to the Death Star was in 2014 with the Death Star Troopers Battle Pack. This was a strange set. I mean, it's cool and all, but you just have like the giant turret that's in the Death Star, along with 2 Death Star Troopers and 2 Royal Guards. It was an interesting set, especially this considering it was one of the few sets released that was based off the original trilogy during that winter 2014 wave where they had the main focus of Revenge of the Sith sets. This was kind of hidden in the shuffle, and I don't feel like it was as popular as the other battle packs released during that time for 2 reasons. One, the other battle packs released were like clone battle packs. Obviously, people would want those more. But also, this isn't like the best army builder. You know what I mean? I mean, if you do want to build an army of Royal Guards and Death Star Troopers, by all means, you can do that. But they're not like the most elaborate army builders. They're still nice minifigures to get, both of them, don't get me wrong. It's not the most exciting set, especially during that wave. I'm pretty sure it got lost in the shuffle. The next set related to the Death Star was in 2015 with the Death Star Final Duel. This early summer 2015 wave, I don't feel like it's remembered as fondly as a lot of other summer waves, because I feel like these sets were just in between like the Winter Wave and the Force Awakens wave. Like, it's nice that we got them, but not a lot of people were excited for them, considering that in 2 months from now, we're going to get new sets based off the new movie. But nevertheless, this is an important Lego set, considering it was our first time getting the new Darth Vader helmet mold. That is the same mold we are getting nowadays in sets. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think it's changed since then. But my biggest issue with the set, I think it's great. I love the idea they're going for here, but just that throne area. There's not a lot of room up there. I feel like they could have shortened up that like walkway area and like put a little more pieces up there, or remove those 2 side areas. I get one of the areas is important for that play feature with the dropping scaffolding, but I don't know, the throne room area, just the actual throne area of it just doesn't have that much space in it. They did sacrifice that spacing for all the other areas in this build, which honestly, they look pretty good. There's a lot of play features in this set, and I also like the fact that you can enclose it. Our next Death Star related set, or Death Star set in this case, would be the remake in 2016. This one had a lot of controversy like as soon as it got revealed. Well, they literally just remade the set. They just updated some pieces, they updated all the minifigures, added like 200 more pieces to it, increased the price by $100, and called it a day. Whether your opinion of this set is good or bad, it's still a Death Star set, and I do personally still like that 2008 one more. I think a lot of people prefer that one a lot more than this one. But if you did want a modern version of that set, by all means, this is it for you. If I'm not talking about this set too much, it's like I said, they did not really change up a lot from that 2008 model. All the rooms are essentially the same. Like I said, bar some pieces, they did add 200 more pieces to the set to make it more stable, I'm assuming. The elevator's still there, the turrets are still there, the trash compactor room is still there. Everything functions literally the exact same. And honestly, if you put these 2 side by side with each other, and you give me like 5 seconds to tell which one is which, I probably couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. Maybe because I haven't seen both of them in person together, but I mean, it's just an updated version. Then also in April of 2017 for Star Wars Celebration, they released a detention block rescue set. I would have really liked for this to be its standalone set. On the other hand, there's not really that much going on here. You know what I mean? It's a promotion set. They didn't really want to do anything too exclusive with it, especially if it was at Star Wars Celebration. You know, I'm pretty sure you could recreate this set no problem. Even the Han Solo and Luke Skywalker minifigures. Now we get to 2019, and what I liked about 2019 is something I really wish they would keep on doing. And that are three sets, really two, but even the third one I think is a good example. The first one is the Death Star Escape set released in January of 2019. I absolutely love the idea of this set. You take an iconic scene from the Death Star, you take a location inside the Death Star, and you just make it a standalone set. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But it's a pretty good set. It comes with one Stormtrooper, Leia, and Luke, and it has a good feature with the grappling hook, along with the retractable bridge. It's just a very nice set, and for $30 it was pretty good. Next up is the Death Star Cannon set, released in October of 2019 for Force Friday. Again, just taking two scenes from the Death Star. You have the tractor beam area where Obi-Wan can flip the switch, along with a cannon on the side build with a giant open window it could shoot out of. Again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You just take a section inside Death Star and you make it a standalone set. You don't need to release another Death Star, a giant Death Star set to, make that scene. You could just release it as a standalone set and it'll look good. And lastly, one that, again, it gets the idea across, but I think the set itself people have a problem with. It's the 4+ X-Wing Starfighter Trench Run. It's a junior set, yes, but I mean, you get the trench run scene, you get a turret on the side. It is technically a build of the Death Star on there. This is what I'm talking about for 2019. I think they did it amazingly. You have all these different sections from the Death Star and you just make them their own sets. That's why I wish we would have like a giant wave of nothing but Death Star scene sets, and then we could just combine them together. A modular Death Star would go crazy in Star Wars, and you can't convince me otherwise. Then in 2020, we get one of these strangest remakes, where we get pretty much the throne room duel set, but an updated version of it. And I gotta say, I do like this one more, because it does address the problem I had with the first one. It does give more space into the throne area. I love the fact that they did that. Plus, they bumped the price up $20, and they also added more detail to those two side areas. They also kind of flipped it where like that giant chasm is on the left side and that scaffolding area is on the right. They also added some control panels on each side of the throne area. The doors look a bit better. They kind of do remind me of the Chancellor's Arrest doors from 2012. And the building is just all around nicer, and I gotta say, putting more space in the throne area, it's amazing. This is one of the best sets released, but again, not a lot of people bought it because they felt like the remake for this set is too soon, and also probably it looked way too similar to that set. I don't know. I know at first I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but looking back at it now, I gotta say I'm actually pretty impressed with this set. Also in 2020, we had a giveaway promo for the UCS A-Wing release. We have the Death Star 2 battle. It's that micro build with the Death Star terrain on it. It looks pretty nice. Not a lot of people were a big fan of these. I personally did like them, and they were kind of the basis for what was going to come with the diorama sets in a couple of years. Speaking of diorama sets, we have two based off the Death Star that were released in that first wave. We have the Death Star Trench Run diorama, which again, this one didn't sell as much because, not a lot of people were interested in the miniature size dioramas. I gotta say, this one is nice though. I almost bought it a couple times because I saw it on clearance a lot. But dude, that detail on the actual trench is crazy. Like, you have the turret there obviously, but all those like raised pieces, all those like I don't know what to call it. Just, I mean, look at it for yourself. It looks amazing. The TIE Fighter builds as well are really nice. The X-Wing build is super nice as well. The quote in the front, beautiful. It's a really good set. It's just the other two dioramas released during this time kind of just overshadowed them. And one of those two was the Death Star Trash Compactor set. I really want to get this set. I don't know why I didn't buy it when it came out, but I just really want to get this set now. It's an iconic scene. They did it as a diorama, which is fine. It works. They could also do it as a standalone set. Just saying, just going to throw that out there. And this set also does come with R2-D2 and C-3PO as well. You get the main cast, and the fact that the play feature also works on this set where the walls can move in is a super nice touch. I feel like the set would be incomplete if it didn't have that feature. It has a lot of detail in it, like all the garbage and like the main build is super nice. The door is also a good build. It's just an all-around great set. Then a year later, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Return to the Jedi, we get my personal favorite Death Star set. It's the Emperor's Throne Room diorama. If you saw my top 30s Lego Star Wars sets videos, you'll know how much I love this set. The build is amazing. That giant window pane is still, it just blows my mind. The staircase to the build up to the throne is really nice. It's all tiled off, and that space in between the throne room as well, where you could put Luke and Vader in there without, like being in the Emperor's face is also really nice. I am super happy I own this set. It's just such a great build, and it is my personal favorite Death Star set. Now, before we talk about the big one, we do also need to talk about that giftable purchase that can go into this set. It's the TIE Fighter with the little hanging area that you could just clip on. Not a lot going on with this set. It's a neat giftable purchase. I'm not the biggest fan of this TIE Fighter build. It is just like way too smushed together. But I mean, it gets the point across. Good for it. I mean, in my opinion, it's just there. Okay, now we could talk about the actual Death Star set. And I mean, when the leaks for this came out, a lot of people were complaining about it. Me personally, though, I wanted to reserve judgment until I saw that backside of the build. And oh man, is it just a mess back there. I mean, wow, the window sticking out, I understand they have to do that for the build purposes, but I mean, the rest of it is just, there's not a single speck of gray back there, man. It's just, it's such a mess. A lot of people were expecting it to be spherical shape. I understand that. I was also one of those people, and when I first saw that it wasn't going to be that spherical shape, I was just thinking like, man, that's a way of doing it. That's the best way, honestly, the best way of putting it. It is a way of doing it. The first $1,000 Lego set, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy it, but there's also going to be people boycotting this set because, I mean, it's just kind of disappointing. Me personally, I never had any intentions of buying this set in the first place. I'm still trying to get the 2008 one because I think that is just the best model, period. It had so much potential, and Lego went with this. I'm not complaining, but at the same time, I'm not praising it. However, I will say, though, it is our first time getting a Lego Mads Mikkelsen minifigure, and if you have the Aston Martin set from 2022, you can have a perfect Casino Royale diorama. That's all I'm saying. But all the reviews are out for this set. Like I said, I'm reserving my judgment for if I ever get this set one day. But if you guys do want to hear my thoughts on it, I like the idea of it, but I don't like the execution of it. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, they released this type of design, but made it modular and sold like all these sets separately so you can get the scenes that you want. I feel like that would have worked much better than this. Then you could have just made like $1,000 tiled off Death Star without an interior. Because if you just separated those two aspects, an interior and a good looking exterior for a UCS set, I feel like this process would have been so much more easier. I mean, the build is a spectacle, don't get me wrong. This thing looks amazing. I've seen people hold it. I've seen people be around it. It's massive. Lego does also advertise that you can literally recreate every single scene from the Death Star in this set, and I mean, they did it. Props to them. This looks good, but at the same time, it is a bit disappointing. I see where people are coming from. Me personally, though, I gotta say, the more I look at it, the more I like it. I am gonna throw that out there. So that is it for the history of Death Star sets in Lego Star Wars. I just wanted to get this video out there right now. Also give my opinions on this $1,000 Death Star because it really is something, man. But let me know what you guys think about this set. Also, out of all the Death Star sets, tell me your guys' favorite in the comments. You have a lot of variety to choose from, as you can tell. And what do you guys feel about Lego making Death Star scenes like as their own standalone sets and then building that up as a modular? You know, I think that's a great idea. I think it can be done. It's just up to the company themselves, man. But that does it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.